Before turning 18, he was worth $60 million, without working a single day, cradled in gold, dressed in $10,000 suits, flying in private jets. He's not royalty, he's Barron Trump. Barron William Trump entered the world on March 20th, 2006, not just as the youngest member of the Trump family, but as the crown jewel of a financial empire worth billions. While most children grow up learning the value of a dollar, Barron's playground was a marble and gold penthouse perched high above Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. His father, Donald Trump, boasted a net worth exceeding $7.5 billion, while his mother, Melania Trump, was a former supermodel who brought elegance and refinement to every corner of their home. But Barron's upbringing wasn't just rich, it was rare. Unlike his older half-siblings, who ranged in age from 13 to 28 when he was born, Barron was raised as the family's baby prince, essentially an only child in a world built exclusively for him. His childhood was anything but ordinary. Imagine having an entire floor of Trump Tower to yourself, complete with private living quarters, nannies, and a playroom that looked more like a royal suite than a nursery. If that wasn't enough, Barron's introduction to the spotlight happened before he could even speak. At just 2 months old, he made his first public appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show, cradled proudly by his parents. From the very start, it was clear Barron's life was designed for the headlines, wrapped in luxury, privilege, and constant media fascination. But as you'll see, the penthouse was just the beginning. If Barron's childhood was dipped in gold, his financial portfolio is practically cast in platinum. While most teenagers save up for their first car or maybe a college fund, Barron Trump's net worth is already estimated at a staggering $60 million, and he hasn't even clocked in a single day of work. How? 2 words: family empire. But beyond the trust funds and inheritance, Barron's fortune is diversified like that of a seasoned billionaire. Tucked away in his name are investments in the world's most powerful corporations: Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway, just to name a few. Imagine having a slice of every major tech and financial pie before turning 18. A cool 25% of his trust fund is locked into these high-performing stocks, virtually guaranteeing that his wealth will multiply faster than most could ever dream. And then there's the real estate. Barron isn't just wealthy on paper, he's surrounded by bricks, mortar, and manicured lawns worth hundreds of millions. First, there's the 100-room mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, nestled inside the Mar-a-Lago resort, often referred to as the Winter White House. This isn't just a home, it's an estate sprawled across 20 acres of prime beachfront, estimated by some outlets to be worth up to $250 million. It comes complete with private beaches, swimming pools, tennis courts, and a golf course, all essentially part of Barron's extended backyard. Then, there's the 30-acre estate in Bedminster, New Jersey, valued at $19 million. Here, luxury is more than a facade. It's lifestyle infrastructure, a championship golf course, grand mansion, private pool, and wide-open landscapes, perfect for privacy and security. While most teenagers dream of one day owning a modest apartment or house, Barron Trump's name is already attached to properties whose combined worth dwarfs small corporate budgets. He doesn't just live in luxury, he owns it. As we'll see soon, the way he grew up enjoying these assets is nothing short of royal. Most newborns come home to a cozy nursery, but Barron Trump's first room looked more like a royal suite than a child's bedroom. Raised in the penthouse of Trump Tower, Barron had an entire floor exclusively designed for him. Not just a nursery, his own living room, kitchen, and quarters for his personal nannies. The decor? Think Louis XIV elegance, dripping in gold accents, intricate chandeliers, marble floors, and velvet furnishings. A French monarchy brought to modern-day Manhattan. But the luxury didn't stop at architecture. One of Barron's first gifts? A gold-plated baby carriage, personally gifted by none other than Ellen DeGeneres. Yes, while most toddlers are pushed around in plastic strollers, Barron rode in a literal throne on wheels, gleaming, extravagant, and completely over the top. And it wasn't just his environment that screamed opulence. Even his skincare routine became legendary. At just 7 years old, Barron enjoyed nightly treatments using his mother Melania's luxury skincare line specifically, a caviar-infused moisturizer called Caviar Complex C6. Imagine being lathered head to toe with a product so exclusive it's made from sturgeon caviar extract, costing more per ounce than the finest perfumes. While other children his age were learning their ABCs, Barron was experiencing a level of pampering typically reserved for the world's elite. From gold-plated cribs to custom skincare rituals, Barron Trump's early years weren't about toys and cartoons. They were about living, breathing luxury, right from day one. For Barron Trump, education was never just about textbooks and classrooms. It was a curated experience, tailored with the same precision and luxury as the rest of his life. While many billionaires' children are whisked away to elite boarding schools from an early age, Barron's mother, Melania Trump, took a decidedly personal approach. She chose to homeschool him herself during his formative years, teaching him languages like Slovenian, French, and Czech, alongside the essentials. It wasn't uncommon to hear that Barron, as a child, could switch between multiple languages at the breakfast table. An education not just academic, but cultural, refined, and intentional. But when it came time for formal schooling, the Trump family spared no expense. Barron first attended the prestigious Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in New York City, where annual tuition exceeds $50,000, a price tag comparable to Ivy League universities. Here, creativity and rigorous academics were seamlessly blended, providing him with top-tier resources and an environment carefully crafted for excellence. Later, after his father's election to the presidency, Barron moved to St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland, another elite institution, known not only for its exclusivity, but its emphasis on nurturing leadership and individuality. Tuition? Again, upwards of $50,000 per year. And after his family left the White House, Barron continued at the Oxbridge Academy in Florida, a school that boasts a near-perfect college acceptance rate and charges $38,000 annually. Pocket change for the Trumps, but a small fortune for most. Barron's education wasn't simply about grades or degrees. It was about cultivating sophistication, global awareness, and ensuring he had access to every advantage money could provide. For most kids, moving to a new home means adjusting to a new neighborhood or maybe a slightly bigger bedroom. For Barron Trump, moving house meant relocating to one of the most famous residences on the planet, the White House. At just 11 years old, Barron became the first presidential son to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy Jr. And while the address changed, the luxury and privilege surrounding him remained untouched, only magnified. But Barron's transition wasn't immediate. While his father took office in early 2017, Barron and Melania stayed behind in Trump Tower for nearly 5 months, ensuring he could finish his school year undisturbed. It's just one example of how, despite being thrust into the political spotlight, his family worked to preserve a sense of stability and privacy. When he did finally arrive at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the residence was reimagined to suit him. Barron's personal suite wasn't the typical child's room. It was a modern, high-tech sanctuary, custom-tailored to his tastes. Sleek furniture, the latest gaming setups, state-of-the-art technology, no detail overlooked. And when it came to entertainment, the White House became his private playground. Barron had access to the private movie theater, enjoying blockbuster films and cinematic luxury whenever he pleased. He could unwind in the historic bowling alley, steps away from the Situation Room. And when the Washington summers became too warm, the private swimming pool, once frequented by past presidents' children, became his personal oasis. But perhaps the most exclusive perk wasn't the decor or the amenities, it was the unparalleled security. Everywhere Barron went, a team of Secret Service agents followed, not just during his father's presidency, but even after thanks to federal law. Barron retained personal protection until he turned 16, a privilege afforded to the offspring of presidents. Behind closed doors, while the media speculated about the Trump administration, Barron's life inside the White House was carefully shielded, wrapped in privacy, and dripping in understated luxury. Because for Barron Trump, even the world's most powerful house was just a temporary palace. In a world where every public appearance is scrutinized, style becomes more than just clothing. It becomes a statement. And when your mother is a former supermodel known for her flawless fashion sense, anything less than perfection is simply not an option. Barron Trump's image has been carefully curated from day one. Even as a child, he stepped into the spotlight dressed not like a typical boy, but like a young dignitary. Tailored, sharp, sophisticated, his wardrobe spoke volumes without him saying a word. One of his earliest standout moments came during Donald Trump's presidential inauguration in 2017. While other kids might have shown up in simple coats and scarves, 10-year-old Barron appeared in a classic navy blue suit, crisp white shirt, silk tie, and polished leather shoes, the very picture of youthful elegance. His look was so precisely put together that fashion critics took immediate notice, hailing his maturity and poise. But Barron's fashion journey didn't stop there. Throughout his adolescence, he seamlessly blended high-end designer brands with an effortlessly cool attitude. Labels like Ralph Lauren, Brooks Brothers, and Brioni became wardrobe staples. His preference leaned towards classic, timeless pieces, tailored suits, structured blazers, sleek dress shirts projecting a presence far beyond his years. Yet, it wasn't all formal wear. Barron's casual style is equally calculated and equally impressive. During vacations or more relaxed outings, he's been spotted pairing Moncler bomber jackets, khaki trousers, and designer sneakers, always coordinated, never sloppy. One particularly memorable look? In 2017, stepping off Air Force One, Barron made headlines wearing a bright red puffer jacket over a white polo and khaki pants, subtly outshining the neutral palettes of his parents. And let's not forget the accessories. Barron isn't just a young man with a good suit. He's a young man with an enviable watch collection. He's been photographed wearing the iconic Rolex Submariner, starting at $10,000, the ultra-luxury Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, easily crossing $20,000, and the crown jewel of his collection, a Patek Philippe Nautilus, which retails from $30,000 upwards, depending on customization. Each piece on his wrist quietly reinforces the same message. Refinement is in the details. In a family known for opulence, Barron's approach to fashion is both understated and calculated. Never flashy, always elevated. He doesn't need logos splashed across his chest to signal wealth. His presence alone, paired with perfectly tailored clothing and curated accessories, tells the story. As Barron steps into adulthood, whispers about his potential future in the fashion world continue to swirl. Will he carve out a career in high fashion, following in his mother's footsteps? Time will tell. But for now, one thing is clear. Barron Trump dresses not just to impress, but to command attention silently, confidently, and impeccably. While Barron Trump's world is one of wealth, marble floors, and custom-tailored suits, even the most privileged meet and escape pastimes that offer a sense of normalcy, though in Barron's case, even his hobbies are dressed in opulence. One of his greatest passions? Soccer. Unlike many children of billionaires who lean towards country clubs or yachts, Barron traded the boardroom for the soccer field. But of course, Barron doesn't just play for the local team down the street. During his younger years in Washington, D.C., he played for D.C. United's U12 Academy team, and later for the Arlington Soccer Association. While to outsiders, it may seem like an extraordinary extracurricular, the truth is, Barron's experience was far from typical. When you're the son of a president and a billionaire, your love for soccer comes with certain perks. Take, for instance, the gifts from none other than Vladimir Putin himself, exclusive memorabilia straight from the FIFA World Cup, hand-delivered. Or how about receiving personal shoutouts from Donald Trump during press conferences, proudly referencing Barron's skills on the field. And let's not forget about the private encounters. While other kids idealize their favorite players from a distance, Barron had face-to-face moments with legends like Wayne Rooney, arranged by his father because why simply watch your heroes when you can meet them in person? It's these small yet extraordinary privileges that highlight how even Barron's hobbies are infused with luxury. Where others might train under fluorescent lights, Barron's practices were monitored by Secret Service agents, ensuring safety while he sharpened his skills. Beyond the soccer field, Barron is also known to enjoy video games, technology, and traveling. But again, these aren't ordinary experiences. Traveling? It means boarding Air Force One or a private jet, landing in the most exclusive destinations. Gaming? Not just a console at home, but a state-of-the-art setup customized for him inside the White House or Trump properties. Even leisure, in Barron Trump's universe, is meticulously wrapped in the finest packaging. His interests reflect what we've seen throughout his life. A blend of youthful enthusiasm, shaped and enhanced by the unmatched access, security, and resources that only the world's wealthiest families can provide. For most teenagers, turning 18 marks a quiet shift graduation, perhaps a new job, or preparing for college. But when you're Barron Trump, coming of age isn't just a milestone, it's a media event. In March 2024, Barron officially stepped into adulthood, no longer the shy child glimpsed beside his parents, but a towering, poised figure who at over 6'7" tall quite literally commands attention in any room. Yet with age comes not only independence, but the inevitable gaze of the public eye, sharper and more scrutinizing than ever. It didn't take long for Barron's name to enter political headlines. Shortly after his 18th birthday, it was announced he had been selected as a delegate for Florida at the Republican National Convention, a move that surprised many. Was this the first step toward following in his father's political footsteps? But just as quickly as the announcement came, Barron declined the position, citing prior commitments. It was a calculated withdrawal, one that left people wondering, is Barron quietly observing, biding his time before stepping into the political arena on his own terms? What we do know is that behind the scenes, Barron has long been involved in family discussions. His father himself has admitted that Barron likes politics and often gives him advice, a rare glimpse into a young man who's grown up at the intersection of power, wealth, and influence. And yet, despite all the speculation, Barron maintains a distinct aura of mystery. No viral social media accounts, no public interviews, no scandals. Instead, he's crafted an image of quiet confidence, letting the world wonder what his next move will be. Whether he'll follow the family's political dynasty, expand his future, or perhaps pursue a completely different path remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. With his resources, upbringing, and connections, Barron Trump's adulthood won't be lived in the shadows. It will unfold much like his childhood on the grandest stage possible. Barron Trump's life reads like a modern fairy tale, except the castles are penthouses, the chariots are private jets, and the crown is a $60 million fortune. Inherited, not earned. From gold-plated cribs to tailored suits worth more than most salaries, every chapter of his story is lined with privilege, precision, and power. But now, standing at the threshold of adulthood, the real question remains: what happens when the heir to an empire steps out of the shadows? Because if there's one thing Barron Trump has shown us, it's that in his world, luxury isn't the destination, it's only the beginning.